you don't mind my back, but I'm going to turn and talk to them. You'll probably still be able to hear me. I have a small voice. Cool. So what do you guys think? Awesome. Have fun? Good. Excellent. You enjoyed a snowy day in Boston rather than foggy day in London. Sorry, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Cool. So let's talk about a couple of things. The opening tune, really good feel, set it up nice in the beginning. The rest of the rhythm section came in, and it took a while for it to kind of resettle, right? So we had that little intro, was good, and then we locked into the groove, actually, to set up the horns. Make sure we just keep feeling that. Throughout that whole tune to me is like about 16 notes. It's about that. That's the groove throughout the whole tune. So even when the rhythm section's not playing it, when you guys have that little sax break and there's nothing behind you, you still have to keep that feel, the 16th note, so that it locks in. It was kind of a little tentative throughout that spot. So keep that in mind. Maybe practice it too with you have the metronome set for the 16th notes. Somebody just keep it digga, so you can find where each note actually sits. Good. Focus your long tones in the brass and shape them based on the phrase location. Let me explain what that means. In the middle of the phrase, let them grow a little bit, right? And at the end of the phrase, let them come back a little bit, so that everything has a little bit more shape to it, and it's not just sort of notes and rhythms, okay? Notes and rhythms are extremely important, but they're actually not music. They're the beginning of being able to be expressive. So once we have them in place, then we have to look at how we can shape them, and how we can tell the story of the music using the notes and the rhythms and some of our dynamic contrast. Which gets me sort of my next point. I think there's a lot of room for dynamic exploration. I think we can really experiment with a larger palette of sound. So keep that in mind too, especially when you're accompanying. So if someone is leading or someone is singing, right, your role changes. You're all participating at the same time, but you're all not in the lead, right? Sometimes someone has to come forward, you say what you have to say, then someone else has a dialogue. So know where you are in that dialogue, know what your role is in supporting that dialogue, and help that person as they perform. And that's especially true in the rhythm section, because you can set things up really nicely, and you did in a lot of spots, but then you got to get out of the way and allow it to happen. So you set it up, boom, it's like the handoff. It's like once you get the ball, once the quarterback hands it off, that's it, right? They've done what they need to do, and now you need to let the rest of it sort of take over. In the beginning of the ballad, the very opening of it, practice singing those parts together so that you hear those pitches, right? And then practice them also with tuners individually, and just practice those entrances over and over again. One of the warm-ups that I do over and over again, and it's extremely boring, I will admit, but if I have an entrance that I have to make on a soft note, I will start with that, and I will start my warm-up with that note, and I will play a whole note, and I'll rest for 4 beats, and I'll come in, and I'll play it again. And I will do that about 20 times, so that I know when I go to play that note at that dynamic, I know exactly what's going to happen when I go to play it. Now, things can still go wrong, but the more times I've done it correctly, the better the chances are that when I need to do it, I'm going to be able to do it. So just practice making those entrances repeatedly. Look for ways of generating. Here's sort of my overarching thought for your performance. And you got to think about this for a second. I say this even to the ensembles here at the college. They're not going crazy, but everything in music only exists in relation to its opposite. So loud only exists in relation to soft. Otherwise, it's just one dynamic. Short only exists in relation to long. High only exists in relation to low. It's all about that contrast. So look for ways to increase the level of contrast in your playing across all the elements of the rhythm, whether it's dynamics, whether it's balance, where you are here, developing your range in the high ends of the instrument, the low ends of the instrument, long tones, short, crisp articulation. Just keep working on all those basic fundamentals. You have good, solid feel for all the tunes, you understand how the tunes are put together, you understand the styles, right? And you're beginning to develop those levels of articulation. You sounded fantastic. My one suggestion to you too is, like, this is your audience. So pull them in and own them, right? Perform, get up here, you don't have to sort of just stand over here and sing. And actually, I would recommend maybe she'd be over by the rhythm section. It might make her job a little bit easier, since especially, this is kind of where it's all happening for her. So maybe just move her over to the other side here. And you guys, when she's singing, we can't all be the star all the time. Usually the singers, they get overboard. And that's fine. Just sit back there and have some fun and support her. Okay? And don't try to sort of overplay her. You don't want her to work too hard. But I thought that number was really, really nice. I thought your choice of repertoire was really good. It fits the ensemble. And I thought stylistically, you guys are, you're off in the right direction. I just think you need to do more. You need to explore more. So that's sort of my take on it. Cool. So we've got a couple of housekeeping items here. We have a participation certificate for Weymouth High School. So thank you for joining us today.